Getting back to your question of archetypes. It's important to recognize the archetypes do not appear only in our consciousness. They are throughout nature. They permeate nature. And that's why the early yogis would use the phenomena of nature to understand ourselves. And the same archetypes that are working in ourselves are working through the biological entities that nature produces. So for example, in the Greek form of yoga, the term psychology developed, the logos of the psyche. But where did the word psyche come from? Psyche was a slang name for a particular kind of butterfly. And the yogis of Greece realized that this butterfly goes through a process of metamorphosis. That is the exact equivalent of the metamorphosis that we go through as human beings. Okay, we go from a larval state, which is the ego, that eats and gathers, but it crawls along the earth. It's very earthbound, right? And very limited and very egocentric. But then it goes into this cocoon, this pupa, and it dies as a larva and is reborn. Okay, it's a very sacred process. And then it emerges with wings and with colors, and it is this beautiful angelic kind of being. And so what the Greek philosophers said is that's what we have to do. We have to go through that same process. But most of us stay larvae throughout our lives. We don't dare go into the pupa, and let alone come out as the beautiful angelic butterfly. But that's what we have to do. And so all the societies of the ancient world were built around this idea that what culture is for is to foster this metamorphosis. That's why humans come together and form communities, is to support each of us creating a pupa, staying in it in a protected space, protected by the community itself, so that each of us can emerge in a transformed way as angelic beings filled with love and wisdom to help each other. But then somehow that all got cut off, and nowadays society is about making as much money as possible, and fame, and all of the ego larval level goals. And the higher goal has been completely obliterated. That's the problem, and that's why the world is now suffering and destroying itself. Because it's a world full of larvae, and there's very few butterflies to even role model the possibility of this metamorphosis. And that's I would say, our imperative, that we must do that. We must role model the fact that this is not just a utopian pie in the sky concept, but this is nature. This is our own human nature, that it is our cultural necessity to support this transformation, and we haven't been doing that. So human beings are in a very stunted level of our potential development today. And the world is being run by larvae instead of by butterfly. And so it's becoming a world in which we literally can no longer live, because the larvae are eating up all of our food supplies, and we're not flying above to get a vision of what reality should be, and we're not living lightly enough on the earth with any reverence for the sacredness of what this is all about and why we're here. We want to restore that, and it will require a cultural renaissance in which this idea of metamorphosis becomes central once again.